and welcome to another episode of Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Laura Cotter.
And I'm Sky Orchard.
How you doing tonight, Sky?
I'm okay.
I don't think I've ever asked you that on this podcast before.
You haven't, and it's hurt my feelings a little bit, but I'm a tough kid.
I'll be more cognizant of that going forward. Everybody always asks, where is Sky? Not how is Sky?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Am I a mystery?
What is Sky?
I wish I knew.
Why is Sky?
When I went to Turkey last year, I knew all these random history facts because it is me and our tour guide, Ramazan. He was like, why are you the way you are?
Genetics.
I wish I knew. And I knew an answer that in all his years of tour guiding, no one had known the answer to. And he's just like, you are the first. Why does your brain work this way? And I was just like, you tell me. Still trying to figure that out.
If only we knew that about all of us. So much of the world would be better.
A lot less therapy sessions.
Are you ready for your favorite part of the podcast?
Yes.
It is appliance update time. I think this is episode 4 or 5. 4. I think this is 4 of appliances. The update is there is again no update because last week, oh my gosh. So last episode I was like, oh, I haven't heard back from the guy who came out to look at my washer because he said he needed to order that part. And so I'm going to reach out to my warranty company. Well, before I could do that, I got a text from a different company saying, hey, I have a note here that we need to come out and look at your washer. And I have an opening for Monday, September 8th. And I was just like, I've done this before. What is this? I texted him back and I was like, hey, can you tell me exactly what you're coming out to do? Because I had a different appliance company out last week. And he came and looked, and this is what he told me. So, are you coming to install the new part? Could he not do it? And he was like, oh, that's so weird. I don't know. He's like, I just got a note from your warranty company that I needed to schedule this job. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to reach out to the warranty people. So I email them, and they email me back, and they're like, oh, yeah, that first appliance company had some emergency happen and they had to cancel all of their jobs for the time being. So I have to start the process over with a new guy and the new company. Again, he's coming out tomorrow to look at my washing machine. I have again already told him what the issue is, but I feel like it would have been real nice of my warranty company to give me a heads up on that before the random man texted me.
That would make sense.
This is where we are. Still kind of works. I'm still able to wash my clothes, so I'm not living in filth and squalor. I don't know how to work the washing machine normally anymore.
Can have a big learning curve once you have a working one.
Part of me is like, at what point do I throw in the towel and just get a new washing machine rather than trying to repair a 15 to 20-year-old one? I guess as long as it's still cheaper than a new washing machine, I will continue to go down this path. My sister just got one that has Bluetooth to her phone, so it will alert her when the load is unbalanced. And I'm like, that's too much. I don't want that. I just want to push it and it goes.
Our 2-in-1 stacked is a smart one as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes things hard sometimes because you want to customize your load. And it's like, well, you need to download the customization in order to push it.
I do not want an app for any appliance. She also has an app for her fridge. I'm like, no. In no world do I ever want an app for my fridge on my phone. No. Well, that was my update. Do you have any fun sagas for us, Sky, or should we just get into the episode?
Do I have any fun sagas? I bought a walking pad for my desk, so now I'm getting my steps in while I work.
I saw your post. That looks really cool.
And it was perfect timing because I bought this during a Labor Day sale. And then, Tuesday when we got back, we found out we're having this company walkathon.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to win. Hopefully. Well, I'm competitive. It's now become even more of a competition, so I'm getting my steps in a lot.
I believe in you. You will win. You will crush that competition.
We'll see how my quads are at the end of all this.
I hope it's just big, muscly thigh. So our question of the week is, tell me about the time that you can remember where you were just the sickest you've been.
One of the times I've been sickest was during college. So I went to the student health center finally, and they're like, oh yeah, you have a sinus infection. And then they're like, oh, but also you have this flu and a chest cold. And it was just this 3 different things all at once. They're like, so here's all your antibiotics for this. Have fun. I think it was at the same time swine flu was going around.
Oh, fun. Did you get Tamiflu?
I did not. So I don't think I had the swine flu, but I had something. Also, though, My grandma then told me that if you keep an onion by your bed, it's supposed to help keep you from being sick. And I put out that onion after I got sick because that was like the fall of getting some sort of flu like 3 times. Coincidence, but I didn't get sick for the rest of the fall winter season. So
I think it's more likely just you caught all the bugs at once and then you were done for the season.
oh, during that time as well, Logan had a small earthquake. And so I'd gotten back to my apartment and like sat down at the table, just wasn't feeling well. And then the earth starts shaking, but I don't realize it's an earthquake. And so it's like this is how I go out. Okay.
You just thought you were like seizing and like dying.
Basically. And then I was like, oh, it wasn't just me feeling that.
Wow. So we've already talked about, I think, the swine flu on this podcast because I talked about how it was my conspiracy theory. During that time that I was so obsessed with Tamiflu, I actually changed my Twitter handle to be Tamiflora.
Wow.
It was the best Twitter handle. Okay, the time that I was sickest, I am actually going to talk about one later in the episode. I'm going to talk about the time I got mono later because that was probably the worst I've ever been sick. But I will talk about this one because it's just, I still don't know what it was and it was weird. February of 2020, our friend Emily and I had just come back from St. George after going on a work trip to teach a teacher workshop. I want to say about a week after we returned, we both got like super sick. She recovered in like a couple of days. I was out for like a week and a half. And this is pre-COVID. So I was not a person who really ever called in sick to work. Like I would just maybe take a day, but I would like battle through it. And I remember Emily messaging me being like, you must be really sick if you're not coming into the office. And I was like, I think I'm dying. I don't want anybody else to catch this. It was like the worst head, cold, chest, flu thing I've ever had. Eventually got better, like had a lingering cough, and then COVID happens. And I'm like, St. George is known as the retirement community of Utah, where all the old people go. And this is in February when they're all leaving to go on their warm cruises into international waters and then coming back. I've never had a positive test for COVID. I've never done like the antibody test to see if I've ever had COVID. I have a sneaking suspicion I was one of the first COVID people in Utah, and that's why I haven't gotten it again.
Interesting. Yeah, the actual sickest time I've been was also in February of 2020. There's some trauma around it, so I don't want to go into full depth there, but I thought also like could have been COVID, but then I donated blood like in the summer and the Red Cross was doing antibody checks by then and it came back negative for any sign of COVID. But February of 2020, there was definitely something around in Utah. Because
there was something
not necessarily COVID, maybe, but there was something bad.
And I think I even got tested for the flu, and I don't think it was the flu, but it was rough. And aside from my food poisoning scandal, my food poisoning scandal, whoa, not scandal. Aside from my food poisoning episode, do not eat the food at the Salt Palace.
Do not get a parfait from LaGuardia Airport before you go on a flight.
I feel like just don't eat the food in LaGuardia is a good blanket statement.
That was a learning curve. North Carolina, things got rough.
Yeah, it was one of those illnesses where you have it and you start like you can't remember what it feels like to breathe.
Yikes.
Okay, enough about our terrible immune systems. Into the episode. So our episode title, it's the Finger Lickin Flu. This is season 2, episode 15. TV guide description. Sabrina's magic accidentally gets transferred to Miss Quick, who turns Mr. Kraft into a chimp. And I noticed you spell checked transferred. It was spelled incorrectly on TV guide, and I left it like that.
My bad. You called out my spell check you did on me earlier.
TV guide had it incorrectly on their website. I'm like, all right, go for it, TV guide. Paramount Plus. Sabrina catches the flu in her pointing finger and accidentally transfers her magic to a teacher. I think they're about the same.
I prefer Paramount. I don't care for the more, I don't know, detailed, because that's just such a small part of it, I feel like. Putting the focus on it.
They would have shown that clip in the previews, I'm sure, in the advertisements for it. The Mrs. Quick turning Mr. Kraft into a chimp.
Yeah.
It originally aired January 3rd, 1998, directed by Gary Halverson and written by Frank Conniff. This is the second one in a row with these two. We only have 3 guest stars, and they all have pretty short credits. First is Carl Michael Lindner as Dr. Brickman. He will return as the same character 2 more times. He is from something called Slappy and the Stinkers, also a TV show called Something Wilder with Gene Wilder, and something else called Krippendorf's Tribe. and there's been no other credits for him since 2004. Maureen Tamblyn as the nurse. She only has a total of 5 credits, which include Seinfeld and Star Trek The Next Generation. And Michael Wayne Williams as Frank, who also only has 5 total credits that include Men in Black and Beverly Hills 90210.
I'm surprised the lunch lady isn't featured.
She never speaks. They didn't want to pay that money. She doesn't have a speaking role. I feel like Frank's speaking is like, oh, my back. Like, it's like a real quick. I feel like he doesn't even need to speak. He could have just gone, ugh. All right, what were your overall thoughts on this episode, Sky?
So I feel like in my guess last week, I got portions. There was Flu.
Yes, that's true.
There was a chicken.
There was a chicken.
Salem was involved.
Yep.
Cafeteria played a role.
Yep.
So, go me there. But it did take until there was a magical chicken telling me about the finger flu to remember that, the whole magic system, quote unquote, that's not consistent does rely on pointer fingers to actually cast spells.
But not all of them. Not all of them use their pointer fingers.
Right? And so I think I'm a little justified in not remembering that when I look at a title that says finger flu. I'm assuming the licking comes in because of like finger licking good chicken. And that's why I went on that tangent of a guess there. But finger flu, fun. It was an episode. Those finger prosthetics.
I hate that so much. It disturbs me more than Rudy Kazooie.
Interesting.
Like, I can look at Rudy Kazooie. I am so uncomfortable looking at that swollen finger prosthetic.
Have you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes.
Can you do the hot dog hands?
I think I was okay with that. It was like a little disturbing, but it was like the whole movie was such an acid trip.
Was not as much of the focus as.
Yeah, it wasn't like the part that really gets to me is when Miss Quick is like, your finger is dripping. That's when I'm just like, no, I am done. I cannot handle this. This will probably be the last time I ever watch this episode, to be honest. I also tried to like focus more on the storyline rather than being grossed out by the finger. And like the worst part was like I knew it was coming, but I couldn't remember when in the episode the finger part showed up, and it's like just dreading it. The storyline itself felt like it was like 3 episodes in one. There were so many lessons learned, and we have Valerie Mrs. Quick's confidence. We have the cafeteria storyline, and then we have Sabrina getting sick. 3 separate stories.
I would have just preferred Salem's story be the main story. Make that the A.
Or like, she can still be sick and her finger can still cause mayhem around school. We don't also need it to be tied into Valerie's self-esteem issues.
That's going to take several series to solve that.
What's really interesting to me is that I really loved last week's episode, The 5 Easy Pieces of Libby. I think that is one of my favorite episodes, and it's the same director and writer. And then we get to this one, and it's like my least favorite episode. I don't know how that works. There were choices made. I didn't like all of them, but we will still do an episode.
That we will.
In our cold open, Hilda and Zelda are watching Witch News.
Hosted by Richard Langston, the free-range chicken anchorman. I hope all news segments in the magical world we see from here on out are hosted by Mr. Richard Langston the chicken. The ants do say he's the most trustworthy they've watched there, but also he's a chicken who speaks. Do we think he's being punished for witch crimes? Do we just have, this random magical chicken being our news anchor?
I think we've established that sometimes there are animals that just talk. Like, remember way back in season 1 where she's pulling all the rabbits out of her hat? And when the rabbit was like, send me back, my wife's about to give birth. Like,
no, I forgot about that dude, but now I remember him.
I think there are just some animals that talk. And I don't think there's a rule around it.
Naturally.
I definitely think Milady is a convict. Salem we know is a convict. Newt we know is a convict. But I don't think it's a point blank rule that if an animal talks, it's a felon.
Okay.
But I did have a couple of questions. Number 1, do you want a chicken wearing a tie now?
Would love a chicken wearing a tie.
Halloween outfit idea. Go as a chicken news anchor. No one's going to get it.
No, not at all. I'll make a little name tag that says Richard Langston, the free-range chicken news anchor. No, I think there's like videos of like chickens wearing cute little outfits, penguins and sweaters. I am a sucker, I think, for a bird in an outfit.
I was thinking adding it to your chicken collection. Like get a chicken, not like a live chicken, like a chicken figurine or a chicken stuffed animal, and get it a tie. The chicken, Mr. Langston, is reporting on the Witches' Council elections, which I think explains why we haven't seen Drell. Either gotten overturned and we now have democracy, or he got voted out. And we always had democracy.
I was going to comment on that as well. If the regime of Drell is done and gone, but I don't think we get him back ever again.
No,
so
he's never referenced ever again.
There was a coup. He was turned into a katydid. He must suffer for the rest of his life. Canon.
Back to the episode. Richard Langston announces there's a finger flu epidemic going around. Hilda and Zelda both zap mittens on their hands, and Sabrina comes downstairs remarking how nice it is outside. Zelda compliments her spring outfit, and Hilda zaps a pair of mittens on her. And I was really distracted by her outfit. I think I couldn't tell if we've seen it before. I feel like we may have seen this outfit before, but the fabric just looks like it's something you would make curtains out of, / it looks like a first lady outfit. I was distracted by her outfit because I was trying to focus on anything except for this episode. The aunts explain there's a finger flu going around, but Sabrina still takes off the mittens. So Zelda zaps her into a full snowsuit.
Once again, mittens are the worst. Not functional.
They also gave her some like really big mittens. Like there's different mittens they could have used. Our outfit intro is Sabrina in a traditional Greek outfit, and she says it's Sabrina the Greek, not geek. Okay. Sabrina is walking down the hallway with her mittens on, and there are more posters that are in the background that I think are new, but they were too fast for me to read. Harvey comments on the mittens, and Sabrina immediately takes them off. Valerie comes by, whining about proposing a town meeting to Ms. Quick. Sabrina mocks her non-existent self-esteem, and this was the moment I wondered, does Sabrina like Valerie?
I think you've wondered this a couple different moments as well. So the moment of this episode.
The Mortal Day episode, or To Tell a Mortal, that was like she had a friendly, fun day with Valerie. But there are some days where I'm like, are they actually friends, or are they friends of convenience?
Time will tell.
I don't think it will.
Trying to be optimistic here, Laura.
Valerie almost bought a book on how to be confident, but was too afraid. Sabrina zaps herself a copy into her locker and gives it to Valerie to borrow. Miss Quick then comes up to tell Valerie she liked her idea.
During that conversation, Miss Quick also mentions she's afraid of confrontation. Terrible conversation between the two.
So bad.
I'm surprised Miss Quick has survived as a teacher.
I think she's genuinely a good teacher, but I think she just has no backbone.
A high school teacher? You're gonna get eaten alive.
Yeah, that's fair. At lunch, Valerie successfully asked for more tater tots. I kept misspelling tater in tater tots. I thought it was TATOR. It is not. It's TATER.
You've always thought it was TATOR?
Potato ends with an O. Tater comes from potato. TatOR. Tato. Tot.
Okay.
Where does the E come from, Sky?
Look, you know the rules of English as well as I do. It's not going to be straightforward in an O. It's going to be an E to make the sound instead of an OR sound.
Tater tots.
I want some TatOR tots, please.
I'm trick-or-treating for tater tots.
Have Pam just give out TatOR tots, or you give out TatOR tots.
I'm going to sit on my balcony and just chuck tater tots again.
You can get like a marshmallow gun and we can load it up with tater tots.
Honestly, I should just do that with my niece. She would love that. All right, so she has her tater tots, and she credits the book for her courage. Some boys are hanging up a banner recognizing a lunch lady for 40 years of service on her last day. Mr. Kraft comes in to give a speech and acknowledges that the lunch lady served lunch through her long bout with mono. This is my mono side story. In 10th grade, I had mono, and I had it really bad. I'm not going to get into the full story because I don't want to talk badly about my mother. It was a moment of drama in our mother-daughter relationship. But suffice to say, I had mono for 2.5 months and didn't know it. And I was throwing up every single morning. And I was just like coming home from school and crashing every night. Finally got taken to the doctor in December because I had started having symptoms in October. And they were like, oh yeah, you've had mono. And I was like, excuse me, what? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so what do we do for it? And they're like, oh, nothing. You're at the tail end of it. You're almost done. So like, just ride it out. I was like, okay. And they're like, but you've had it so bad that if you ever get mono again, your kidneys may shut down. I'm like, well, that's fun. Thanks for that information. So that is actually the sickest I've I've ever been, but I wanted to save this story for this mono moment. So yeah, mono's not fun. And a friend of mine had mono right before I got mine. And when I told her about me finally having it, she was like, I've never had mono. I'm like, well, then you were lying when you were telling all of us about how you had mono 3 months ago, or you're like lying now. So don't try to gaslight me, girl. Mr. Kraft presents the lunch lady with a golden hairnet. Everyone claps, but then Mr. Kraft sends her off to clean up a spill. Sabrina objects, but Valerie and Harvey give her death glares, so she backs off. Mr. Kraft announces that the students will be replacing the lunch lady.
In 5th grade, one of the fun things we got to do was everyone got a lunch shift. It was a very exciting time if it was your day to go down to the cafeteria and help serve lunch. But that was, as a 5th grader, 10-year-old, whatnot. See teenagers being less enthused to do that.
Idaho loves their child labor.
Sure do. And our TatOR Tots.
TatOR
Tots.
Maybe that's how they say them in England. Do they have tater tots? Hey, UK listeners, can you let us know if you have tater tots? Sabrina starts to object again, then quickly tries to cover it up. Everyone will be assigned to lunch shifts. Libby gets up to contest this, but Mr. Kraft assures her that cheerleaders and football players are exempt. Harvey starts to celebrate, but Mr. Kraft clarifies it only applies to first-string football players. So Sabrina stands up to say that it's unfair. Mr. Kraft comes over to assign Sabrina and friends the first shift. He leaves, and Sabrina starts fidgeting with her finger. Livy comes over to mock them.
She says, sorry about you being second string to Harvey, and sorry about you in general to Sabrina.
I love Livy. I wish we got an episode from Libby's point of view. I think that'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Sabrina's finger twitches, there's a sneezing noise, and their lunch trays go flying off the table. Mr. Kraft tells them to start by cleaning up the mess. Valerie and Harvey glare at Sabrina. Salem asks Zelda and Hilda for attention, but they ignore him. Hilda is distracted by a neighbor who might be stealing their newspaper.
Hilda has on a very large and thick coat, and at the start of the episode, it was established it was a nice, warm spring day. So do they also get... Well, they don't have the flu, though.
They also don't have their mittens on anymore. She has a coat on, no mittens.
Yeah, and they don't put mittens back on when they know their niece is an active carrier in the house.
Maybe it's one of the things where, like, if you've had it before, you have an immunity built up to it, so they're relying on that.
I don't know. They were quick to put on those mittens after Mr. Langston gave his announcement.
Again, zero consistency even within one episode. We're riding high for a minute, and nope, this episode just lost it all. There's also a really bad joke that I'm not going to talk about, but it's referenced here and it's referenced in a later scene. It's a joke that just did not age very well. I'll say that. Salem continues to whine. Hilda coughs, and Zelda immediately starts paying attention to her in case she might be sick. Salem notices this and pretends to sneeze, drawing Zelda's attention to him. And I just noticed...
I just saw that too.
Okay, you can read this because you can make fun of my spelling for this one.
So Laura already touched on this comment, but here we have a nice bullet point of ants aren't wearing their men's anymore. You're thinking of Mando there.
Ms. Quick grabs Mr. Kraft in the hallway as he's about to go into the teacher's lounge, and the no smoking poster that was in the hallway earlier is now inside the teacher's lounge.
And that's probably the best place for it to be. I think the teachers need it more.
She questions his decision to have the kids work during lunch. Mr. Kraft angrily defends himself and slams the door. Miss Quick walks away and Sabrina chases after her, having seen the whole thing. She gives Miss Quick the How to Be Confident book she zaps into her hand. Salem is still pretending to be sick, and Hilda takes his temperature.
He gives it in a nasally, hey, and then a regular, I think I'm getting worse, which Hilda says, either that or you do a lousy Jerry Lewis impersonation.
I watched this episode twice and did not hear that line.
It's there.
I believe you.
Jerry Lewis was an American comedian, actor, singer, filmmaker, and humanitarian with a career spanning 7 decades in film, stage, television, and radio, famously nicknamed the King of Comedy. He is regarded as one of the greatest comedians of the 20th century. I feel like we just throw around every single time I look up someone that they're like the King of Comedy or the best in this century. I think
That's why they're being referenced on this award-winning show.
Touche. But he was known for his nasally voice, and one of the movies you would probably recognize him in is The Nutty Professor.
I think I only know the Eddie Murphy version of The Nutty Professor.
Well, Eddie Murphy wouldn't have ran unless Jerry Lewis walked. But he probably ran because he wrote, directed, and starred in it, so... You did a good job there.
Good job, Jerry Lewis. Proud of you. So Hilda walks away after putting the thermometer in Salem's mouth. He looks around the kitchen and sits in front of the boiling kettle, using the steam to raise the temperature. Did you ever try doing that as a kid? Like, get the thermometer to read higher than it was?
No, I was a good child.
I was usually, like, actually sick. Also, by the time I got to high school, my mom was like, do you just need a day off of school? And I was like, yes. She's like, great. Sounds good.
Nice.
Mr. Kraft and Miss Quick are discussing the town meeting, but Mr. Kraft quickly shuts it down. He walks away and goes past Sabrina, whose finger sneezes again, causing all the lockers to open.
And when Mr. Kraft turns around, Sabrina goes, and they say we don't have mice.
The ants are pampering Salem when Sabrina walks in with a swollen finger, and this is just... Ugh. She didn't wear her mittens, and she got the finger flu. The ants pay attention to her while Salem continues to moan. She tries zapping herself into bed, but it just gives a gross nose-blowing sound. Hilda brings her chicken soup, and Zelda tells her to put her finger in it. There's some more chicken food, by the way.
Yeah, look at me.
My question, Sabrina was at high school with a bunch of mortal kids. How'd she catch the magical finger flu?
You know, there was a moment that we'll get to where I didn't realize Sabrina had sneezed her magic to Miss Quick initially. And so I thought I just saw Miss Quick suddenly using magic. And I was like, my theory was correct. She is secretly a witch. And then I think it's been established that she probably isn't a witch. But there might be another secret witch. You never know.
Like, she had to catch it from somewhere. I'm assuming finger flu germs. I mean, how far do they travel? What is their half-life in the open air?
Yeah, do they travel on like objects? If other realm mail comes in, could that spread it? Is it like person to person spread? A lot of questions.
Even COVID wasn't that contagious. Like, unless there was another witch somewhere in that school that also had it, and I don't know. But also, they just found out that it was going around that morning. And so she would have had I guess she could have caught it earlier. She wouldn't have caught it that morning. That's true. Okay, I forgot about incubation periods.
Silly Laura.
Which the mittens wouldn't have done anything anyway because it would already be in her system.
Yeah.
I accept that. Okay. She caught it a few days earlier when she was in the other room. That's what I'm going with. Sabrina is going downstairs the next morning, but the ants stop her. Her finger is huge and gross looking. They are making her stay home today, and she and a sick Salem can keep each other company. And Zelda is very dressed up with her fur-lined skirt suit. Everyone walks in the kitchen to find Salem laughing at cartoons in the newspaper that he quickly turns into coughs.
He's laughing, saying, I don't care what the critics say. Doonesbury makes Alzheimer's funny.
Sabrina lays on the couch with a cold pack on her finger. Sabrina feels guilty for staying home while Valerie and Harvey do lunch duty on their own. The TV turns to a breaking news story about chaos at Westbridge High School where students are throwing food at Valerie and Harvey. Mr. Kraft is being interviewed and promises to expel them. Sabrina wakes up from her dream and runs to go to school while Salem goes back to napping. Sabrina arrives at school and everything seems fine. She quickly puts on an oven mitt to hide her hand. Libby makes an angry remark about how bad they are at this as Harvey runs to get more tapioca pudding and Valerie goes to stop the teacher Tots from burning. There's a lot of tater tots in this episode. Sabrina hands her the oven mitt, then tries to hide her swollen finger in a hot dog bun.
Yeah, that was a gross moment.
That was so gross. It was so bad. Just then it sneezes again and hits Miss Quick. Sabrina wonders what happened when Libby steps up, demanding chili and making fun of Sabrina some more. Miss Quick tells her to stop and points at her, causing her to get shoved out of line just as Harvey comes walking by with the tapioca pudding, which spills all over Libby. Miss Quick caught Sabrina's magic.
Oh, I am becoming more assertive.
Zelda and Hilda get home, and Hilda notices that Salem smells like chocolate. Zelda decides to take his temperature again. He asks to put it under his tongue, but Zelda declines. The camera zooms out onto a shot of the house, and we hear Salem yelling for the SPCA.
Little animal abuse in this episode.
Do you take a cat's temperature by sticking a thermometer under their tongue?
I don't take my cat's temperature. That's the vet there. But also, my cats aren't people turned into cats who remember being people.
Oh, that's true.
It adds a different layer to it.
That's why you don't commit felonies. Sabrina is still trying to hide her finger after lunch when Miss Quick walks by and zaps a kid to stop slouching. Sabrina tries to call home, but there's no dial tone on the payphone. Miss Quick walks by again and zaps the phone to spit out dimes. The ants know that Salem was faking being sick and decide to have some fun with him. But first, Sabrina calls. And I was like, oh, we went around a corner into a never-before-seen place where their electrical panel is. Okay. Glad we got to see the electrical panel in the aunt's house. Sabrina explains that Miss Quick caught her magic. Zelda tells her to get Miss Quick over to their house, but Sabrina has to do it the mortal way because her finger is stuffed up. So Sabrina goes off to find a blindfold and a gun. Hilda gives Salem the news that he's very sick and summons a cold bath for him. Again, the camera shows a shot of the house as we hear Salem yelling,
"I am not an animal!"
Sabrina catches up with Miss Quick, who stops the student from running, causing him to get stuck to the floor. Sabrina tells Miss Quick she's sick and asks for a ride home, which is so inappropriate, and no teacher would do that. But Mr. Kraft walks by and Miss Quick asks to speak to him as Sabrina's finger sneezes again, burning Mr. Kraft's foot. He notices her weird finger, and she says it's from slamming it in a car door. He leaves, and Miss Quick tells her to see the nurse about her stomach and a surgeon for her finger before leaving as well. Meanwhile, the guy stuck in the background has a friend trying to help him move to no avail. The best part of this episode is the boys in the back of this scene. They stole that show.
I did, and I do like Frank's line of, my back, because I feel that.
The sidelined boys had some good moments in this show. Although in the very first cafeteria scene where Mr. Kraft is doing his talk, there's two boys behind him. I don't know what instruction they gave to the extras. Most of the extras were doing like shocked faces or like upset faces. Those boys were just like like straight blank faces the whole time. And like one kept shifting his feet around. I'm like, how many takes are they on now? How long have these poor boys been standing here?
You get mad when I do visual things to the camera instead of using my words.
I did.
And you just...
But then I explained it afterwards.
I guess. I can also screenshot that, so... I have the password to our socials.
Please don't. My bangs are all funky because they dried weird.
They look fine.
Thank you. I was just fishing for a compliment.
You would.
Miss Quick confronts Mr. Kraft again in the cafeteria where he's standing in front of a chalkboard where he misspelled Valerie's last name. He put a C into Burkhead and there's not a C in Burkhead in any of the credits or anything. And I feel like that's so on brand for Mr. Kraft. He cares so little about Valerie that he'd misspells her name. He's having the kids help with lunch duty to appease the school board. Miss Quick calls him the school board's trained chimp, causing him to turn into a chimpanzee, which is our second of the primate family on this series.
Yeah.
It won't be the last.
Oh.
There's at least one more, but it's not for a couple seasons, I don't think.
At least 3 monkeys.
At least 3 monkeys. Miss Quick starts crying that she's gone insane. Sabrina tries to summon rose-colored glasses, but it takes a couple tries and putting pepper on her finger to make it sneeze. Miss Quick is still freaking out when Sabrina puts the glasses on her. She's suddenly fine with everything and takes the chimp's hand to follow Sabrina home as Sabrina's finger drips. Ugh. Rudy Kazooie didn't make me, want to throw up.
Specifically dripping blue.
Oh. Okay. The ants take everyone through the linen closet to see a doctor in the other realm. And there's been an awful lot of mortals going to the other realm this season.
That's true.
I don't know what the rules are anymore because none of them have been turned into insects. Although Harvey and Valerie did get sucked into a vortex.
Less traumatizing than an insect.
Is it?
Jenny disappeared after everything that happened to her. Harvey and Valerie are still here.
That's true. That's true. Jenny's actually locked in a psychiatric facility talking about her time as an insect.
Jenny's actually gone insane, unlike Miss Quick.
Sabrina gets called into the office as the others wait in the waiting room. Dr. Brickman comes in and he's a child, but he's also a complete professional.
Zelda remarks he performed his first surgery at 2, and Dr. Brickman chimes in that he supervised his own birth.
I just want to know the logistics of that. The head comes out first, so from there it's not that bad.
Oh, gosh.
So the doctor inspects Sabrina's finger and says he needs to drain it. In the waiting room, Miss Quick takes off her glasses and starts freaking out again, but Hilda just pushes them back on. Everything is fine again. There was a note on the Sabrina wiki that Hilda gives the chimp Kraft a magazine, and when they go back to that same shot, it's a different magazine. I couldn't tell. It was too quick for me. On the back of Hilda's magazine, there was some crazy cruise line advertisement. Okay, I'll try and go back and see if I can find it again because I was like, what is the name of this cruise line? A blue liquid drains out of Sabrina's finger. Then he calls in Miss Quick and Mr. Kraft. The doctor asks Miss Quick to point at Mr. Kraft and cough, but then we have to go on an explanation for a second because then the doctor pulls out a giant lollipop that will turn the person who licks it into a sucker that will make them believe anything they're told. Miss Quick then coughs and Mr. Kraft turns into a human again. He starts to yell about what's going on, but Hilda shoves the lollipop into his mouth and tells him he's on a secret mission to rescue all of them for the FBI. And because of the pausing on my DVD, I only heard word rescue them and then FBI. So I initially put rescue them from the FBI.
Sabrina says, "Hey, this is fun," and then tells Mr. Kraft, "President Clinton went on TV and said, 'You're a big fat stupid head,' to which Kraft replies, 'And that's why I'm a Republican.'"
The doctor tells them they need to go back to where the spell took place and put some cotton swabs in their ears to erase the memory of the spell. And I was like, but aren't they still going to notice that they're missing a chunk of time? Which I feel like is a thing for all the spells, but teachers who are on the clock might notice it a little bit more. Back in the cafeteria, Sabrina explains that she has to stick the cotton swabs in their ears. She finishes swabbing just as Mr. Kraft finishes the lollipop. The two teachers continue their fight from earlier, and somehow Miss Quick finds the confidence to still stand up to Mr. Kraft. He is speechless and hurt. He capitulates that he'll hire a new lunch lady, but the students will still have to work their shifts until he does. He leaves, and Miss Quick follows him to insist that he include football players and cheerleaders. He objects, but she forcefully repeats what she said. He gives in and walks away, displaying some chimp-like movements. Valerie joins Harvey and Sabrina at the lunch table. She's concerned about her newfound confidence. All she can use it for is getting more tater tots. Sabrina says to just think you are confident and you'll be confident. But Valerie's childhood traumas won't go away by reading a book. Okay, that was in line.
Backstory bomb we will never find out about.
I would love to know. That would probably make me more interested in Valerie. Let's dig out some of those childhood traumas. A student comes running by, Miss Quick yells to get his attention, but then gently tells him to slow down and takes him to go get some cocoa.
Valerie remarks something along the lines of, "I want to be just like her, except for being a teacher with a low salary." Once again, pay your teachers.
That should be like the subtitle for this podcast. So it's Something Witchy, put more money into public education.
A Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. 2 colons.
Oh, I forgot we already had it. We already have a subtitle.
We can have a subtitle.
What's the name of this show? What are we doing, Sky?
I don't know.
It's only been a year. Libby comes by in a hairnet and apron, pushing a cafeteria cart, trying to get herself to wake up from her nightmare. In our end tag, Salem sobs with a cold compress on his head as Zelda notes that his glands are swollen. Hilda asks if he'll need surgery. Salem admits he was faking the whole thing and just wanted attention. Zelda and Hilda hope he learned his lesson.
Which is, it's wrong for a cat to cry wolf.
He says he'll never do it again, but he still has that knot in his back. And that is the end of this episode, and I never have to watch it ever again.
You have to listen about it, though, at least once.
I will listen about it because I think I'm funny, and I'll just listen to my voice talk about anything. That was one of my worries about when we first started this podcast. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can listen to myself. I don't know if I can listen to myself be stupid. I'm like, no, I love it. I'll listen to myself all the time. Sometimes I fall asleep to the two of us on this podcast because I can't go to bed.
Wow, I do not do that. I get to hear our voices, though, for several hours as I go back and forth several times, fine-tuning things. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Our next episode, Season 2, Episode 16, Sabrina and the Beanstalk. What's it about, Sky?
This one's a tough one. There's going to be a magical lesson. I think that instead of Sabrina being like the role of Jack and the Beanstalk, it's going to be Harvey. Harvey's going to be that person who wanders into the other realm and goes crazy and steals things from the new Drell, who has been appointed lead ruler after the Witches' Council vote. And Sabrina's going to have to help fix things, and then they will cause that new lead Witch Council ruler to fall from the sky and die, and then they'll have to have another Witches' Council election, and Mr. Richard Langston will get to announce it on the news once more. Should I write that down?
No, but you have heard the description for this episode before. This is one of my real or AI episodes that I chose.
Well, I can't remember it.
You did get this one right. You did guess correctly that this one was a real episode. But that was not the description that I read you in that episode.
Are you sure? Because my brain's pretty confident about this.
But it sounds like a fun episode, if that's what it ends up being.
I think all my episodes are fun. If they had turned their fingers into chicken and Salem was trying to eat them, would you have enjoyed this episode more?
Yes.
I think 100%. You would have.
Chicken fingers? Yes. Oh, man. Okay, join us next week for some more unhinged conversation. Will there be a death? Who knows? Might be one of ours.
Appliance Saga Episode 5, coming soon.
If my washer's not fixed, we're going to have to add ads so that I can buy a new washing machine. Sorry, guys. Enjoy your last week of ad-free listening. I need that 20 cents an episode.
Big money.
In the meantime, you can like, share, rate, and subscribe to this podcast. You can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com for your own unhinged takes. You can follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod, where there are a bunch of stories and polls being put out. And you can follow us on TikTok at something.witchy.pod. Until next time.
Stay magical.